Hey everybody, how's it going? Chris here, coming to you from the CCC channel, Comic Community Central. Haven't done a video in a while, and one of the videos I promised was showing a quick go-through of Marvel Treasury Edition issue number 1, which is a very good copy. I have a little beat up on the edges, but pretty good. And sometimes we don't get, in a lot of our videos, we get to see a lot of covers, but we don't get to see some interiors. And I thought this would be a great one to show you some of the interiors of this oversized Marvel Treasury magazine that reprints a lot of awesome old Spider-Man tales. So let's take a quick look through. So first you open it up, you got a introduction by Stan Lee, and then your contents. Of course, look at all the awesome headshots of all the characters around there, and then your list of contents. And we have the special introduction by Stan Lee, Daily Bugle Extra, The Green Goblin, Secrets Behind Spider-Man, I like that one, Spider-Man Tackles the Torch, The Birth of a Superhero, Rocked by the Shocker, The Reprehensible Riddle of the Sorcerer, and Death Shall Come, and then a pinup. And then some covers. Okay, so let's go through it really quickly. So the Daily Bugle one, I actually haven't read this, but it's a lot of kind of like news stories on the beginnings of Spider-Man and Stan Lee and Romita and those sort of things, but I actually haven't read it all. And then we start here with I think this is Spider-Man, a reprint of Spider-Man 14, I believe, which is the first appearance of the Goblin, and that's about that. It was an okay story. I find it kind of goofy when a certain character shows up later, that they added a lot in here, and also his first glider was like a broomstick instead of the the Goblin Rider that we know and love today. But yeah, so that was kind of goofy. So he gets his henchmen. He's got henchmen to do some stuff for him. But pretty good story. And of course he wants to, take out Spider-Man. Some pretty good art. It's this one's Ditko art, I believe. So I'll try to go through it quick because there's quite a bit in this magazine. But Amazing Spider-Man 14, first appearance of the Goblin. So they ended up, what was this? They faked like a movie thing or something, as I recall, and Parker was supposed to star in it, or Spider-Man was supposed to star in it, and it was a big ruse by the Goblin to, bring him out and into the secluded area to try to get rid of him. Spider-Man runs away into this cave, and a certain character ends up happening to be there, and that is the Hulk. So it's not only the appearance of the Green Goblin, but a guest star of the Incredible Hulk. What are the odds? They go to this place, this big, gigantic ruse, and they happen upon a cave that the Hulk was in there, which kind of helps out Spidey in the end a bit. These couple of pages I really liked, just going over the origin of Spider-Man and his suit and how things work for him. So that's really kind of cool. So how he was bit, how he figured out, and they talk about how spider webbing works and how he got the idea, and his web shooters, cartridge belt, how he can use his webbing. That was fun to read. And then for his powers and his masks, why you can't see his eyes. Here's his light, so everything about his utility belt and spider sense. So it's kind of cool. And here they talk about why they put the spidey sense tinglies around him and things like that. So how they artistically convey Spider-Man's powers. This one, what was it? A Strange Tales reprint, I believe. Basically, Spider-Man with the Human Torch, young teenager Torch, and just being kids being kids kind of goofing off sort of thing. Birth of a Superhero. This one quickly is about John Jameson, and this one says here, originally presented in SpiderMan number 42, and it kind of reminds me of SpiderMan 38 with just a guy named Joe, sort of. But anyways, Jameson comes back from space, and they just mentioned he somehow some spores that he got in contact with must have changed him. He ended up getting some superpowers, and of course his dad, JJJ, kind of turns him against Spider-Man throughout the issue. Appearance with the Rhino here as well. And as I recall, I believe it ends up being just temporary powers, and just like a guy named Joe, he kind of goes crazy a little bit with the superpowers. That's kind of cool though. Jameson turns into a superpower. I think in later issues he ends up becoming a werewolf sometimes too, so a lot's been going through Jameson. But beautiful oversized art. I mean, it's huge. It's the same size as the original art, basically. Oof. And also right here, last panel of this one, this is the kind of famous panel with Mary Jane where he finally meets her face to face. There's a couple cameos before this one. So you finally get to see her, and this is Romita art, where she says, "Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot." So that's pretty cool. That's probably the best panel there. Romita was very good at art. Very nice lines for drawing the ladies. Now, I don't know why they put this one in here, but there's a page from a few issues ago. It says, I can't remember what it is. But anyways, they tell you what, from issue 2 something. More special. Yeah. So I don't know why they add this in, maybe just for an extra page or something like that, but a page from whatever issue where he's fighting the Shocker, so just kind of a random page in there. This one was one of the goofiest stupid stories. I didn't really like this one. A goofy sorcerer, voodoo, and he practices for many years and helps enhance his own telepathic abilities and all this kind of stuff. And before, you know, he could do anything, I want to defeat Spider-Man and all this kind of jazz. So he kind of is manipulating Spider-Man through his powers of the mind. That's a pretty nice looking panel. And then eventually, so here they're talking about how he got his powers and how he trained his mind and body for all this. But you never see him, Spider-Man never comes face to face with him. And he eventually gets his mind put into, see, here's where he's amplifying his powers as well. Eventually puts his mind into this monster here to fight him. And then, so some pretty nice powers here. I think it's some kind of synthetic man. But just kind of really goofy story. Wasn't the best. And then here you don't know whether, like, he messed up his the transfer back or something like that, so you figure he might be dead or something, or and you got the monster walking away, so you don't know whether his full mind actually got transferred into the monster or something like that, or so I don't know if anybody knows about this, you know, this monster or whatever, and this character, this sorcerer, if he ever came back or what, I don't know. And a pretty big issue, and if you really liked the Amazing Spider-Man movie, you might like this issue. Kind of important, I guess. And death shall come. This is the death of Captain Stacy at the end. Sort of, well, far from what actually happened in the movie, maybe except the last scene, sort of. But this one, I think, has some of the best art, and I think some of the best art panels. So start out with a fight with Dr. Octopus. They fight for a while. He ends up getting away, and then he has to track him later on. So that's really cool. And there's a little bit of dialogue with Captain Stacy here and there. But I think some of the best scenes artistically out of this whole magazine is from this issue right here. Ramita art. Very beautiful. So he was feeling sick. He took quite a beating from the octopus. So here's a little bit of dialogue with Captain Stacy. So Peter kind of gets the idea. Does he know who I am? Who I am, Spider-Man or not? He's never really mentioned it or anything. He kind of has a feeling. Does he know who I am? So Spidey goes out to track Octopus and creates a new type of webbing fluid to help him defeat him. Doc Ock ends up setting a trap for him, basically because he knew that he had that tracker on him. He had a spider tracer on him. Again, great artwork. Love the artwork in this issue. Next panel there. So, continues to fight with Doc Ock. A great panel there. So, what Parker's webbing did, it was kind of like a, I don't know, electromagnetic kind of webbing or something like that. Anyways, it turned off the connection between, you know, Ock's brain and the tentacles, so the tentacles kind of were working on their own and just fighting whoever, so his tentacles end up turning against them. They ended up knocking off some of the part of the building here and falling down, and Captain Stacy was down at the bottom. It was going to fall on a child, so Stacy jumps to save the child, but the falling debris ends up crushing Captain Stacy. So then Spider-Man goes to get Captain Stacy. He's still alive a little bit and talking, and this is where he eventually tells Spider-Man that he knew that he was Parker before he died. So Spider-Man takes him off the ground, takes him up to the rooftop, which in the movie is where Captain Stacy dies in the movie, but nowhere near you know, the same as he did in the movie. But he dies there on the rooftop, and he kind of blames himself, as he has with many people over the years. Kind of blames himself for the death of Captain Stacy. And then we have a final pin-up and a whole bunch of awesome covers. So there you go. So there's a quick look through front to back. Marvel Treasury Edition, issue number 1. And hopefully later on I will be able to get another couple videos for you on the CCC channel here. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and please leave your comments and questions below, and I'll talk to you guys later.